From Las Vegas, Sandy Kastel and friends.
We've been missing some of your recipes lately. We've been talking so much with everybody else that we haven't heard one of your recipes for a while. So why don't you give us one of your special recipes?
My favorite recipe, believe it or not, is chicken Romano. I love that. I had that in 1974. 72. I was performing at a place called Salvatore's Restaurant in Jersey. And the guy was from Italy. And I had this dish, and I'm telling you, it was absolutely exquisite. And I says, I got to find out how this guy made this. I couldn't stop licking the plate. That's how good it was. The key is, this is what you do. You get yourself a chicken, and realize if you buy a whole chicken, folks, you get 14 cuts out of a chicken if you split the back, take the wing, if you know how to break down the chicken. But if you just want to buy like some thighs and breast and legs, so forth and so on, this is what you do. You get yourself your flour, and you get yourself your chicken, and you flour it. Then you get yourself your oil. All right. Now, what you want to do is you want to put a little bit of oil in the skillet, okay, where it's not deep fried, but you got a little bit more oil than you normally would have. Now, the key of that is to save the oil when you do your chicken, because believe it or not, that's the flavor. Because that's when I asked him. He used to save all that chicken, juice, the grease that he cooked the chicken in. He never threw that out. And the more chicken he cooked, the better the flavor was. So what do is you get a lid, and you flour your chicken, and then you put a lid over it. Very important to put the lid, and I'll tell you why. Because the steam, okay, will cook the chicken through and through. Now what you do is you get a fork, and you pierce the breast, or you pierce the leg, or you pierce the thigh, and then where you pierce with the puncture holes, you press down. If red comes out, the blood, red, then the chicken's not done. But the minute you don't see that no more and white comes out, that means the chicken's cooked through and through. Then you take the lid off. Now, by taking the lid off, listen carefully, everybody out there, get your pencils. For taking the lid off, then it starts to get crispy. When you find that nice and crispy, you don't want to overcook it. You get yourself the chicken, and you dump the grease out. All right? You put the lid, and you kind of dump all the grease out in a can. Save it or throw it away, whatever that you decide, which I think it's a mistake if you throw it away. And then what you do is you add, now the skillet's nice and hot. Now you get your butter. Listen, everybody. Butter, parsley, salt, pepper, sherry wine, no onion, no garlic, and a little bit of chicken stock for juice, or some of the water, or a little bit of water to it. I'm telling you something, I have never in my life enjoyed a chicken dish than this. It's called chicken Romano. Yes,
that sounds good.
Ain't that incredible? I don't make it that much, but it is very, very tasty and very, very good. So you need to try it at home. But the key to the chicken Romano, and I'm going to say it again, you got to get a coffee can. Do they still got coffee cans? Do they still have the metal coffee cans? Because I just see the plastic all the time. But the metal, like I remember Maxwell House. My grandmother had like a humongous thing of Maxwell House. And then
my mom used a jar. A lot of people I think use a glass jar to keep the fat stored in, or the grease stored in.
Well, I used to do that myself. The problem is that I did that once, and I cracked in the oil, the heat of the oil split that glass. I did that, believe it or not. So I went to the can.
You didn't have a heavy enough jar.
Maybe so. That's what happened. Maybe so. But anyway, that is my recipe for today, and I guess he named it Chicken Romano. You know what I mean? I never heard of it before. I've been to a billion restaurants, never seen it. Talked to a million chefs. They never even heard that. But the key that really excited me, there was no garlic. No garlic. And
you get the garlic this time.
No garlic at all. Absolutely not. No garlic.
Well, you made something last night. You made you sauteed some mushrooms last night.
They were great. But you know what I did? I got a pinch of salt, a little bit of salt, and sometimes, and again, They were a little too salty. Ladies and gentlemen, listen carefully. Be careful with the salt. You know what I mean? I got a heavy hand when it comes to salt. You know what I mean? And sometimes, and you can't distract from that, because when something is too salty, you killed it. It's over. It's done. Throw it out. You ain't gonna do it. People say, "Well, I like salt." Let them add it. You know, so many times they just grab a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. I did the mushrooms. Now, if I have time to tell them about the mushroom recipe, I can do that.
Well, sure, you can do that too.
Oh, here's the mushroom recipe. I went to Smith's, and they got the big, gigantic mushrooms. You cut them in threes, okay? You cut them right down the middle.
Yeah, but you didn't use the big ones last night.
Yes, I did.
Those are called big. You call those big?
They're the biggest mushrooms that you. Well, no. If you got there's
not.
other ones.
You got portobello mushrooms.
Right.
You got all kinds of big, huge mushrooms.
Right.
So you just use the regular white mushrooms. You get in the packages at the store, because I picked them out, so I know. Yeah.
Right. They're great mushrooms. Anyway, you cut them up, and I sauteed them in oil and garlic, and then when they were nice and sauteed, then I added a little bit of wine. I added a little bit of butter. Do you understand? Again, a little salt, a little pepper, and I served it. My problem, I had a little too much of a pinch of salt, and I didn't think I used that much. I said, no, I didn't use that much, And then I added a little wine, and then I added, believe it or not, a little sherry to it.
No wonder they taste a little salty.
So anyway, on the phone we got Steve.
Hey, Michael and Sandy, how are you?
Hiya, Steve.
Hey,
good, how you doing, Steve?
Hi, Sandy. I just wanted to say, Michael, I think it was Friday, he gave a very nice but short, emotional, I guess you could say, dissertation about the show. I just want to add to that. Michael, your show is not just a show. It's an outreach to people, to human beings. You reach out to people. It's an experience where you feel like you're talking to in your coffee shop, talking to your friends. This is a great show, and you teach us a lot about life in the meantime, not just recipes. And could I just throw something out there, Michael, about chicken?
Sure.
I would pay $100 a quart for the oil that came out of the chicken I ate at your house that day. It was unbelievable. How do you make it so tasty? I've eaten 1,000 chicken dishes, but the oil, I could have dunked the bread in there and ate the chicken and the oil for another 20 years.
Well,
I think you did, Steve.
I think you did, Steve.
I know. I walked out with a care package, too, that weighed 15 pounds, but I must have
I
been Michael
packages.
volunteered to do that for me.
Well, I got to tell you, Steve, it was...
Everybody does.
That was a chicken Pascal. Dr. Perry and Diana, they're very, very special friends of mine and Sandy's. And this was a dish...
But mostly yours, Michael.
Excuse me? Mostly mine. No. They're all our friends. The bottom line is that the food, my grandmother made this recipe. And it was absolutely exquisite, because we were poor when we were kids. When I say poor, not poor in a sense, poor. I mean, my family went to work. My grandfather had a very successful business. But as kids, we had scooters. We didn't have bicycles. And in my neighborhood, there's no such thing as credit cards. And you're right, Steve. What I tried to do is to try to make, this radio show to let people know about what it's really about. Because today, and I want to say something, people are phonies. They get on the air.
That's right.
They're phonies. You know what I'm trying to say? They don't want to say how it really is. And many times I get criticized for the things that I say on the air, or my opinion about entertainment, or my opinion about shows and about people. Everybody wants to be politically correct. They want to come in. Everybody wants to be loved, and this is a great show, and everybody's wonderful. They're not. We're all human beings. You know what I mean? And again, for whatever time I have left on this earth, you know what I mean? I'm 62 years old. Whatever time that God has given me, you know what I mean? And especially the tragedy that I went through in my lifetime, I like to bring the experience back to try to help somebody. So if I can help one person. You still there, Steve? Oh, Steve cut off. All right.
Yeah, that was Sandy that cut off.
Is that Steve or Sandy?
Yeah. No,
okay.
Steve.
If I could help one person, do you know what I'm trying to say to you? To really do something well in my life. That's what it's really all about. And Sandy and I, that's what we try. And there's battles many times. We go back and forth, because and I'm myself. To be unique is to be yourself. That's why I'll cry on the stand, or, you know what I mean? Or I'll come over here and I'll get emotional. On one hand,
that's okay, because you're being, the truth hurts sometimes, Michael. It has to. That when you say things about certain things going on in this town that maybe are not good. And, you also compliment a lot of people who deserve to be complimented.
You're right.
So I appreciate the fact that you do that. And you guys, you and Sandy, I got to say, are very gracious, very good hosts. It was nice to be at your house. I'm going to put a tent in the backyard. I'll be your maintenance man.
You're the greatest. We love you, Steve. But like I said, we did the show at the Canyon Gate. It's a shame you didn't come.
I know. I'm without a vehicle, Mike. I'm like 15 miles away, and I wouldn't want to impose on someone.
You're not. I would have sent the car for. I'm telling you, I'd have had you picked up. You know what I mean?
I do appreciate it. And you know something? You guys are so nice. There's times in the future, down the road, I want to just donate. Even if I don't make it to the event, the thought is there. You guys were so nice that first time. I'll never forget that.
Well, that's really Sandy's the one that really, that's her dream. You know, the WEMA Foundation is really her dream, which is really great. And throughout my whole career, I always tried my best. Okay, I always tried my best to do the best I can for people, you know, and charities. You know, I never had a charity, but I always was happy with the WEMA Foundation, because Sandy really takes very special pride, you know, and raising money to help other people, you know.
That's a good point, Michael.
We never had that.
The more you have to share, too. Remember that.
And I appreciate that. And I thank you for the accolades that you gave me, you know. But
and I look forward to seeing you guys again someday, Michael.
Thank you, Steve, and thank you so much for calling.
All right, I'll be listening. Bye-bye, buddy.
All right,
bye.
We're going to go to a commercial break, and then we're going to come right back as soon as we can. Yeah, baby. I'm waiting for Sandy. Sandy, where are you, Sandy? She was so tired this morning. That poor kid. She worked so hard. You know what I mean? And I got to tell you something. Today I got to go into the club, and you know I have to check everything out with the my job, which is at the Jockey Club. You know, I got to tell you something again. Yes, there's my cousins that are out there. You know what I mean? We got a great lineup of people, what we're doing here, so forth and so on. You know, and it always feels so strange for me to be here, you know, all by myself in the studio. And I'm surprised she allows me to do that. But I ain't going to do any crying today. You know, but I want my friends to call in. You know, I want everybody to call in. Give me a talk. Let's talk. You know, for the ones that seen the show, we want to thank you. We want to thank you for being so kind to come in and do what needs to be done best. You know, and like I said, it was not nice as Steve. Steve was a regular, just a caller. What's that? What'd you say, Brian?
Nobody on the other line.
Nobody on the other line. Somebody called and there was nothing. They said, hello, nobody. Don't be afraid to call 731-1230. That's the number, 731-1230. You know, the Rich Rizzo and the dancers, my God in heaven, they were great. I mean, absolutely terrific. I mean, they opened up the place and really did super. And them girls were from the ages of 60 years old to 80. And everybody just absolutely loved them. You know what I mean? And again, we got Sandy. Here she is, Sandy.
Yeah, I guess I went to a bad spot.
Uh-oh.
Lost you guys.
All right. Well, I was telling everybody, I know that we know you're always doing something and writing contracts, you know, and as you know, and John's filming this, you know, we know that you're calling. I mean, are you? Will we have the presence to see your lovely smile?
I don't think I'm going to make it into the studio today. That's why I called in.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm glad. All right.
So, I wanted to talk a little bit about all the great things that you did the other day with the concert, and thank everybody again for being part of that, and supporting Lena.
Yeah, that's marvelous. That's really marvelous. That was really great. And Dr. Perry, we got to, this guy is something else. You know what I mean? I'm being honest with you. This guy is like a charm. He's like dropped out of heaven. You know what I mean? And he's always supported us tremendously. And he was the one that bought both pictures. You know what I mean? There was a beautiful a Wyland Gallery donated. A beautiful two porpoises, which is gorgeous. And Gigi was kind enough to do a silent auction. And then he did another one. And he bought both of them. And
that was Leroy Neiman.
Leroy Neiman. Oh, my God in heaven. Right. That's really great. Diana Fox called me this morning and said, do we have any guests? And from day to day, it's so hard because sometimes we book people and they don't show or something happens. They don't get a chance to get on the air. It's very, very difficult, so we don't know. And Sandy's the one who really handles that. I do the antics and the comedy. And she does all the business end of it, which is kind of a pain in the, what.
Really?
But anyway. You're right. So, do we have any guests today? Because Diana asked me if any, or it's just us and our viewers. It's tomorrow.
Well, Michael, you said you like doing it by ourselves, so.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah,
you can invite anybody you want. I figured you'd probably have Jolie and Neil on again this morning.
No.
I didn't know.
No. There's no. I have not. Jolie. These people have their lives, and I appreciate them. You know what I mean? And, no, I didn't have Jolie and Neil. You know. Anyway, like I said, and people listen to us all the time because, like Steve said, we make their day, and we thank them, and we know that Jimmy Melodor's out there listening, and who's really great, excellent saxophonist, and did a phenomenal job. But I got to tell you, folks, I was tired. I was beat. You know, and it was not the performing; it was the setting the stuff up. Got up at 4:30 in the morning, got over to the country club, and I was there until 3:30 in the afternoon. Got home, got dressed, and went right back.
I know. I was there from 6:30 till 2 o'clock. That's right, 2 or 3. I was supposed to be getting my hair and makeup done, but couldn't get out of there in time. So
no, it happens. Yeah. It's all right, you know. And like I said, that's what teamwork's about: getting out there, getting things done.
That's right.
And I got to give.
But, you know, also we had Jim Sherrouse helping us. You know, Dad, of course, getting everything set up. You know, for the musicians, so that you know, everything was organized. You know, people don't realize how much goes into preparing for a show. We were talking about that, you know, yesterday with T. Fox. But you know, it's about teamwork everywhere you go, no matter what you're doing.
You're correct. You know, and I got to tell you, I'm looking at John Stiles, and he's one ugly son of a, you know what I mean. But Robbie Turner did a great.
It's Roby.
I keep
Turner.
saying Robbie. I thank you for correcting me.
Well, that's okay, because you know, I know people are, you know, when they're listening to their name being said the wrong way. I just try to, you know, correct it. That's all. Roby
Turner is the guy that did all the sound and did a absolutely unbelievable job. But then at the end of the night, I looked at this guy as I was packing up, and he must have had 50 different kind of wires and microphone stands and mixing boards, and even though he had help, that guy was there at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I didn't even know if the guy ate, because I told him I'll take care of it, make sure, and I hope to God that he did. But he was there at 2 in the afternoon and didn't walk out of there till 11 o'clock at night. Stayed all them hours, you know, the setup, the sound, you know, and naturally David Taylor did a great job, which we really love. You know. But again, like I said, we talked about this yesterday, and today's it's a new day. It's a wonderful day.
But we didn't mention Dale Sweetland. Dale Sweetland was handling the spotlight, and I didn't know. It's funny. I saw Dale when we first walked in, and Dale was in the band with me, with David Taylor. It was Dale Sweetland on drums, and David Taylor on guitar, and we had Bill. What was his last name? Williams? Anyway, and then we had Terry McCoy on B3 Hammond organ. And, you know, it's funny because here David and Dale live here now. Dale works with Jerry Tiffy. You know Jerry Tiffy, right, Michael?
Yep. Yes, I do. I know him for years.
Yeah. So Dale's still playing drums with him, and then also he does the video and stuff with David. So here he was behind the spotlight, and at the end of the night I said, okay, well, here's the check for the spotlight guy. And Dale said, well, that's me. And I said, you're the spotlight guy? Oh, my gosh.
That's marvelous.
Anyway, and so it's funny because here I traveled on the road with them, Michael, and we went around the country. It was 1974. And Terry Richards was in the band at that time. And Terry Richards came to see a play that I was in at Rancho High School. I was in Funny Girl. And Terry Richards came, and then he talked to me afterwards, and he said, are you interested in being in a band? You know, and we're going to be touring shortly. And so I went down and auditioned and got the part. And I was on the road with that band for 2 years, traveling around the country, in the Midwest, the East. I went up to Canada. We went to Alaska. And I really got a lot of experience, you know, being with the band when I was doing that. So, here they are, still in my life. So, it's kind of amazing.
And it was a bunch of great guys. You know, and I was thinking today, and as I was driving, I was saying, you know something? If I died right now, okay, or I never do another thing from today on, I left with a high note. I did a concert at 62. 150 people stood up and said bravo.
Well, you're not that old, Michael. 62 compared to 84, 86.
No.
Guys in the band.
No, what I'm trying...
I mean, seriously, these guys, that were playing with us, they have been around a long, long time. And some of them are in their 80s, and mid to late 80s, and their 90s. It's amazing. Just like those girls, the Las Vegas Follies girls. These girls, some of these girls have been dancing for a long time. Some of them are in totally different careers. And here they are. Now they're, between 60 and 80 the other night and dancing. And really, setting an example. Okay, Ryan. Anyway, but, it's setting an example for really staying in shape. And just like Jimmy Mulador, he says, look, I practice my horn 4 hours a day. And this is what people do, that are artists, that are professionals. They practice their craft all the time. They don't let it slack.
Right.
That's how they stay so good.
Right. No, but what I was saying, the point that I was trying to reach is that, in everyday life, the vicissitudes of life is amazing because everything changes. Nothing stays the same.
That's right.
Nothing stays the same. Trust me.
Except for change. Change is always constant.
Right. You know what I mean? And I'm a firm believer that no one could ever change another person. You can't. People are going to be what they're going to be. And if I stopped today, what I'm trying to tell my listening audiences, I left on a high note. You know what I mean? It's like when George Foreman got back in the ring and won the championship at the age of 50 years old. You know what I mean? To say, and then he can hang up his gloves. Now I would love to continue to perform. You know what I mean? But if it's not in the stars for me to do that, if God says, forget it, Mike, I want you to do something else.
Well, that's like life, Michael. None of us know what's going to happen tomorrow.
No.
We can only do the best we can do today. And be honest with people, be straightforward, have the people around you that you love and care about. These things are important.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. I don't know where you're at, but you sound like you're on the beach.
I wish.
Yeah, well, me too. But I got to tell you, anyway, we had a great time.
Isn't it time for a break, Michael?
Oh, you want a break? Oh, because you know me, when I start talking, I was ready to go into another recipe. But like Sandy said...
I know. It's hard to get you to stop.
We're going to go into a break, and we'll be... Well, why don't you take them into a break, Sam?
If you're just tuning in now, you're listening to Sandy Kastel and Friends Variety Show with Jeff Michael.
More recipes, more fun. This is Sandy Kastel and Friends. Here again, your host, Sandy Kastel.
Well, good morning.
731-1230.
702. 731-1230. Call in, folks.
1230. Jimmy Mulador told me today, he said, Mike, I seen Gil Cohen and Kathy.
I thought they were out of town.
They came back in. He said,
they came back.
He said, how was the show? Naturally, Jimmy turned around and said to them, he said, it was great. Jimmy talked. And I love Gil and Kathy. We don't see them anymore. They don't.
Well, he's working now. He's over at the Monte Carlo. Yep. I think that's where he's at, and then he's working nights and stuff. So a lot of times they can't come out, to some of the shows that we're doing.
Yeah, and Gil's a great guy. They're really wonderful people. You know what I got you? Once again, 702-732-1230. Why don't you call in, folks? I want to hear what you got to say. Somebody's got to say something.
Says somebody, please call.
I want to hear. What do you want? I want to ask the question to everybody that's listening. If you could change something in your life. If you have one thing to change in your life, okay, what would you change? And the other question is, I want to see how many people got the cojones to pick up the phone.
To say what they would really change.
Okay,
well, they can't say it if their significant other is listening, of course, because then it would be on the air,
Okay.
And then, so some people might not want to say on the air what they would like to change in their life.
Forget about that question. Here's another one. When I had the magazine, Las Vegas Image Magazine.
And when was that?
in the year 2000, I'd interview people. And then I had writers that would put it together.
That's right.
I would ask them, this is one question I want to ask. Okay?
You had a whole team and staff helping you with that.
You're right.
Yeah.
True. It wasn't me. It was
That's right.
Right. Okay, thank you for telling everybody that. Anyway.
Well, of course, you have to have a staff to do things like that.
If you, listen to me, everybody out there, if you had one more thing to eat, your last
supper?
I'll tell you what. I'm going to start with Brian, our engineer. Get your microphone. Brian. What the frig's the difference? It's the same name. Okay. Brian, how old are you, son?
I'm 26.
26. All right. Now, you're a man of the world. You traveled from Timbuktu to Tel Aviv to Baie Lafourche, Louisiana.
Okay.
All right. And I know you're not Italian. But if you had one more thing to eat and one beverage, anything your heart's desire, what would it be?
In terms of eating, I'd like to have my family-style hamburger pie. My mom, going back to like my great-grandma, that's something that we've had in our family.
Hamburger pie, I never heard that.
It's good old redneck food. It's just it's mashed potatoes, green beans, ground beef, and a little bit of tomato soup.
Now, is that all together?
Yeah, it's like a casserole, basically.
A casserole.
We just call it hamburger pie.
And for a beverage?
I'd like a nice gin.
No gin and tonic, just straight gin.
You
got to be specific. What kind of gin? Now, I'm a gin drinker from time to time.
About 2 sips and then you're out.
About
like a light.
Geez, I guess if I'm having to pick a brand, I don't know.
Seagram's, Beefeaters, which tastes like perfume. Tanqueray, Bombay, which one?
I guess
now this became a drinking show.
I did like Bombay when I tried it, so I guess that.
Really?
I mean, maybe Snap Decision. Maybe that isn't like the wisest idea, but.
Well, I'm glad you said that. And I'll tell you the reason why I asked you. I asked the woman one day, what was your... And she said to me, Cheese Whiz on crackers with and whiskey for a chaser. And I asked Jerry Lewis. I said to Jerry Lewis, I said, Jerry, so you got one more thing to eat. He said, well, you get a piece of bread and you cut a hole in the middle of the bread and then you fry it and you crack an egg in the middle of it. And I said, well, how about for a beverage? He said an egg cream. A New York egg cream.
East Coast.
Jerry Lewis. Ain't that amazing? I said to Debbie Reynolds, what would you like? And Debbie said a taco and a Coke. Now, you just said the pie and gin.
Hamburger
pie and gin.
Hamburger pie.
I guess maybe those don't really go that well together now that I think about it.
No, it doesn't make no difference. But I'm saying it's amazing, you know.
But it's what you thought of.
Now, Sandy, for you, if you had your last meal, seriously, what would it be and what would it be for a beverage?
I don't know. So there you go.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Right. Well, for me, I got to tell you.
Depends on who I'm dating at the time, I guess, or what I'm eating, or where I'm at.
Okay.
You know.
Well, I'll be
since
dating.
I'm meeting you.
We'll be dating. We'll all be dating. John's dating.
Right. Are we dating?
We're all dating. We dating? I don't know. Here, no, I'm gonna kid you. Here's what I would like: blue claw crabs.
Oh, that's good.
My grandfather style. Bianga white. Now this is what you do: you get the blue claw crab, you crack the back off, and you clean the crab. There's a certain way of cleaning it. If you go to YouTube and you say cleaning blue claw crabs, it will show you how to do it. And my grandfather, God rest his soul, taught me how to make.
You know, you can get those shipped in from New Orleans. Yeah, they'll ship them in. I had those shipped in 1974.
$500
when I was no, they shipped them in, and because I was singing down there in Metairie with the band that I was just talking about, and when I came back home, I had some, and they sent me the soft shell, the blue lake crabs, and then also the crayfish.
Oh, I love that too.
Crayfish.
Well, this is how you make them. You clean the crab and you saute with oil and garlic.
Okay, go ahead. Why don't you tell us how you were going to make it? Because somebody just called in.
Who called in? No.
Magnolia.
Not Magnolia. Hey,
Hello, Magnolia.
Why Magnolia?
Good morning, guys.
Magnolia.
Oh, is that Magnolia, the Filipino queen?
Yes.
Yes, I'm Balut.
Oh, Balut. Magnolia, did you have a nice time at the show?
We did. Unfortunately, we came in a little late because we were still doing brisket. So we had to wait. You know, it takes 5 hours to make it. So it overlapped with your time.
Yes, yeah. But you guys had a good time. So you were there for the show, though, weren't you?
Yeah, we were there. We were right in front, and I actually won prizes.
Did you?
I know. You got a haircut from Let's Talk About Your Hair, Peter Anthony Wynn. And,
yes.
So that was wonderful.
Well, you know, Magnolia, I got to tell you a quick story with Balut. I did a bad trick on my mother, which I should have never done. I said, Ma, make me a couple eggs, and I took the balut out. Now, inside the balut is the eggs of the chicken, the embryo. It's the regular chicken.
Yeah. Oh, I don't think I want to hear this.
When she cracked it open, she screamed. She wanted to kill me.
Oh, my gosh.
She wanted to kill me.
You know, Robert Gordy's on the phone, too.
No, not Robert Gordy.
Yeah, let's bring Robert Gordy on with Magnolia.
Magnolia, hey,
Good morning. Good morning.
I got a name for you, Mr. Humble. Mr. Humble, ladies and gentlemen, Robert Gordy.
Well, you know what?
Junior.
I wasn't humble Sunday night.
Why?
You guys sat us right up front, so I felt like a king. I was sticking my chest out. I had my Borsellini hat on.
Yes, Borsellini.
My Italian friends. I felt Italian that night.
Yes.
You know, I got to tell you something. You kissed me right on the mouth when you said goodbye.
Was that where the lipstick came from? No.
What the hell? I said, you know, like you
Robert, what'd you do? You kissed I kissed by a girl, and then you kissed Michael. What is this?
I got to tell you something, Bobby. It's a strange feeling when a black guy kisses you on the mouth. It's a
or a white guy. What about a white guy?
Any guy.
You know.
That means you're in. That means you're in.
Is that like the down low? Is that what?
Oh no.
You're
I
part
know.
of the family.
And bro, I know. I'm teasing you. I'm teasing you. I don't give a rat's ass. And then Monique Brewster.
Oh, now you want me to help you with the names?
Yes,
but yeah.
Monique Brewster took me to her car. She's got like 17,000
beautiful cars. Oh my gosh, she collects these cars.
She collects these gorgeous cars.
I know, and she likes that era, the 84 to 87, I think she said. Yeah, or 88. Yeah.
She wants to take some more pictures of you, Mike, in your blue suit with the blue car.
She was great. That's a great publicity
She probably wants to take him during the day, you know, because that car was the exact same color as Michael's suit that night.
Did she make you drive it? Did she make you drive it?
Yeah, you were driving it.
Wow. Yeah, that's right, because I seen her on the passenger side, and then I just got a text from Diane Fox, and she wants Stromboli.
Stromboli.
Now, Bob, let me ask you a question. If it was your last meal and a beverage, what would it be?
My last meal, probably one of those Kobe steaks that everybody's always talking about, $160 Kobe steak.
Right.
And a big, juicy lobster with all the fixings and things like that.
Okay. Now, but for a beverage?
A beverage. Okay, I stopped drinking almost 5 years ago, so.
But if you can, this is your last meal. You're going out. You eat and then you're going out. So what would it be?
That would be a hard one. Just pure water.
You know, I'm glad you said that, because for me, God's honest truth, it's not Coke, it's not drinks, I would have Avion. I love Avion water.
Wow.
I love a glass of ice cold, delicious water with my meal. Ain't that crazy? Now,
have you heard about what they said is in that stuff?
What they got in that stuff? What do they got in that stuff?
They've talked about it. Anyway, yeah. So
you know what? I wanted
buddy?
to say something about the other question that Mike asked. He said, if you had one thing to change in your life, what would it be? And I'm sitting there listening, and I was like, what would I change? You know, friends, family, life, whatever. You know what? After I thought about it, I said, you know, Sandy and Mike, there's nothing I would change in my life, because everything that's happening in my life, I don't consider them mistakes, whether they were good or bad.
Right.
You know, and like everybody, I've had very traumatic and tragic things happen. And I had some of the greatest moments in my life also. So when I think about it now, when everything came together, and remember, I sent you that text saying, if the planets line up, we'll see each other on Sunday, right?
Yeah.
And they turned out to be one of the greatest nights of my life. That was so beautiful. So I said, there's nothing I would change in my life, because if I changed one thing in my life, I may not have met two of the most beautiful people on the planet. That's Sandy Kastel and Michael Leonetti.
Oh, thank you.
That's
Thank you so much.
There's nothing I can change. I couldn't change anything, the good or the bad.
Well, you're right, and I've been asked that question before too, and I've always said the same thing because wherever we are right now today is because of everything that we've gone through. Right. And like you said, the good, bad, and the ugly, everything that we've gone through, the ups, the downs, the greatest moments of our lives, and the most tragic moments of our lives, still bring us here today, and it's what we do with today that makes a difference. If we,
exactly.
Yeah, it's the choices that we make today.
Like some people say, don't wait for things to happen, make things happen.
Yeah, that's right.
Some things happen because you made them happen. Some things happen that you have no control over.
Right.
Bob.
And sometimes you have to accept those things. Sometimes stop fighting against, what you're trying to make happen. And just accept that some things don't happen. Right.
I just got a text from Dr. Perry, and he said, "I would like to have my last meal good comfort food, chicken."
Chicken Pascal, right?
No, believe it or not, Sandy, chicken Parmesan with my favorite drink, champagne.
Ooh,
Dr.
champagne.
Perry, what is it with you? I never seen you drink champagne.
Well, no, because he doesn't, because the too much sugar in champagne.
Is that what it is?
I guess, but he drinks Coca-Cola, and that's not sugar in it, but that's Diet Coca-Cola. But, I don't know.
Well, you know something, Bob? We love you.
Is Magnolia, you still there?
Magnolia?
Yes, I'm there.
And we love you, too. This radio show opened the door for so many people, and Sandy and I are so glad that we could shout out of what people do, like your food, for instance, like the Fiesta, the Motown that's down there. That you guys are making a statement. What you're doing, which
Thursday nights. That's right.
Which is really
Sherry Gordy presents,
which is really good. But like I said, if God take me today, I was blessed to say, something. I had one more shot at the ring, and I got in there Sunday and performed. And I says, and Tony Krapis, my trumpet player, who I know him for 32 years.
Yeah, you performed with him back
years ago when we were young.
Right.
He said, Mike, I swear to God, you still got it. You never missed a beat. And you got to remember, my type of drumming takes a tremendous amount of energy. But I got to tell you, folks, the next day, it's not the performance that made me tired. It was the setup. It was carrying that stuff.
And tear down,
and
too.
And to tear down.
Right.
And you know what I mean? And
a lot of hours.
A lot of hours, boy.
A lot of energy.
A lot of energy. But we raised a lot of money for WEMA Association, and everybody had a great time. And that's what it's about.
That's right.
You know what I mean? If you're going to do something, do it. Make a statement.
Yeah, and when we were looking at you perform, it was so unbelievable. Like, oh my God, the drumming, it was fantastic.
But you know something, Magnolia? When Sandy walks out on the stage, her beauty and her style, you don't see people like that. Because and again, like I mentioned, and I always say the truth, I always say called soup cans, and I'm very opinionated. And a lot of people don't like me because I'm opinionated. I know what's good and what's not good. Peter Pavone knocked him out of the park. Mark Jehovah, he got a standing ovation with a ballad. I knew he was going to get it.
Yeah.
And Sandy came out, and you got to remember, we both hosted. We just didn't perform. We hosted. Sandy and I sat people down. People didn't get their seats. Sandy had to run over here. We're taking pictures. And ain't just that we sit in the dressing room and somebody knocks on the door like the movies and
says, 5 minutes,
showtime. BS. We were kicking ass and taking names later. The only thing we didn't do is serve the food. And I even wasn't in the kitchen. Come on, I said to the waiters, let's go. Get these drinks out. Let's hustle these drinks,
So we appreciate you guys coming out to support us.
I was just thinking, I was so elated. The show was so excellent and so classy, and I hated, some of the people that had to leave and everything, because I texted them later and I called them and I said, you all just missed probably one of the best shows of the year.
Well, Bob, I would have put a table up for them. I would have took. And I see them women.
Yeah.
I begged them to
we asked them to
I said,
stay.
wait a minute. No, we got to go. Wait a minute. I'll take care of it. No matter what I said, they wanted to go. So sometimes people get a hair up their gazoo and they want to leave.
Well,
but when we got home,
they got it because later on we had some discussions and meetings and everything, and I said, you know what, you guys just missed out. So I can't be mad at you because I had the best time.
And you can't, sometimes this happens. You have a show that's sold out, and you can't always accommodate everybody, even though you want to.
I said if you all had a little bit of patience, Sandy was handling so many things. Michael, he just took control and he said, let's move this over here, let's do this over here. And like I said, I looked at Monique, I looked at T. Fox, I looked at his wife of mine. Our mouths dropped over it. I said, this is like, we couldn't believe it. We were right front and center stage. If the people had stayed, they might have had as good, if not better, seats right around the stage.
Well, I guess they'll have to come next time.
Yeah. Well,
in the back, they won't make that same mistake.
Well, in the back, there was two guys. I don't know who they were. I didn't recognize those guys. I don't know if you noticed them. They were sitting in the back. They were sitting on the bar stools. And I said, what are you guys doing here? We didn't have a seat. Now, I'll be honest, Sam, I don't know if they bought a ticket. It was an overbook. They walked in on them. I don't know. But I grabbed them by the hand.
A lot of people didn't pay until that night.
Right. And I said, come with me.
We knew we were already close to being sold out.
Come with me. And I said to Canyon Gate, anything that's over, any mistake, I'll pick up the tab. Don't worry about it.
Right.
Let these people eat.
Right.
I'm not worried about an eggplant parmesan and a chicken marsala. Let these people eat.
Michael would have gone in the kitchen and made a chicken pascal,
You better believe I would have done it.
Absolutely.
And as we walked out, Sandy and I walked out, I didn't even know that the paintings were sold. Okay? When you do a raffle.
Well, you never know until the end of the night anyway, Michael, a lot of times, because people sign, they put their name in, they do the bid, and it just happened that, Dr. Perry's bid was last bid, final bid of the evening, so he's the one that won them.
Right.
Yeah.
And the thing is, between you and I, when you do a raffle, that's like a lull in the show. You don't do a raffle. We got a show going. And I said, Sandy said, just finish it, I said to her. But what happened was we made it like Bob Barker, come on down. And we had so many, and 5, 6, 7, 8. It was, we got another winner.
Well, thanks to Peter Anthony Wynn and Stephanie Wynn. I mean, they gave us 16 gift certificates to give away. Plus, Tuscany Grill gave us the tickets to give away, for the complimentary, for $25 gift certificates for everybody. And,
the seats.
And in the seats underneath the seats, there were the gifts, the big bags that had all the hair products in from Let's Talk About Your Hair, and even Jim Sherrouse put something under there for a membership, a 3 months free membership, and Arlene won that. Yeah, Arlene.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, it was great because these were family, these were friends, these were people that we loved, these were people that were a part that we know. It ain't like we're on the strip and we got people from Wisconsin and Oregon watching.
Don't know us.
It was I'll be honest, it was 150 people. It was 25 members from Canyon Gate.
That's right.
And 125 of our people that come to see us at the Tuscany.
And Mark Giovi's people, Peter Pavone's people, Jimmy Molidor's people. I mean, we all brought people. So that was the great thing. I think even John Stiles brought some people.
They were the fabric.
And the band, brought people, yes.
These people are the fabric of who Michael, Leonetti, and Sandy Kastel are. Your family, your friends, Lisa and Carl Grasso, Diane and Dr. Terry Pascal.
Right.
Gigi Ullman, these are people, it's like a oneness. There's a oneness there, that every time I see you all, I see them. And I'm so elated,
we love you.
Target fan. But I want to tell you one real quick story, which that night reminded me of. My family was in music. I'm like 60 years. I'm only 2 years younger than Chef Michael, and I was there, and I was eyewitness to the whole Motown thing with my father's brother, Barry Gordy, coming up. I was there from a baby when he started writing songs for Jackie Wilson in the mid-'50s.
Wow.
And we saw that. There was nothing going on in Detroit except the auto industry. So there was this blight, then there was the blue-collar working people who actually brought Detroit up. So the auto industry has a lot to do with why Motown came up, because these were people who were making money, they were happy, so they got really creative. The guys on the street, the doo-wop guys, their parents, their cousin, whoever, you work for Ford, General Motors, Chrysler, whatever. So now there's money being made, so now people, they can get into creative things, the arts. There was big jazz movement in Detroit.
Right.
So this is all the foundation of Motown and Berry Gordy, how he he worked for Ford Motor Company, Lincoln Mercury. Okay, so he's making the cars, he's hearing the synchronization of the music, of the sound of the machines going, and it's just.
Are you saying that's where the rhythm came from?
This is where the rhythm came from the sound of the machines at Lincoln Mercury, and he's putting the upholstery in the cars, the leather seats and everything. So I don't want to be long-winded, but anyway, the family, they started, being very creative, making music from Smokey Robinson and everybody. But one of the greatest thoughts, because we're in the music, Windsor, Canada is right next to Detroit. My parents took me and my sister, I was 6 years old, went to Windsor, Elmwood Casino, a big a nightclub. It was a stage like you guys staged that night. Same thing, I'm telling you, I was almost sitting directly in the same seats we were sitting I guess your left of the stage.
Right.
Sammy Davis Jr., I was 6 years old, 1960. They had just finished Ocean's 11. Mm-hmm. There was a big poster outside, black and white. Sammy Davis sitting on a stool, Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Joey Bishop, and Peter Lawford standing around him. As a 6-year-old black kid that didn't know anything about black and white, this was an iconic picture for them to be standing around Sammy Davis Jr. So already I was elated. We go in, we're sitting right next to the stage. Sammy Davis Jr. hits the stage. Yeah. And he was at the peak of his powers. Mm-hmm. He danced, he sang, he played the trumpet, he played the drums like Michael Leonetti. There's so much energy to this day. That was like 1960, 54 years.
Well, you're right. It's that type of energy, that showmanship right. that Michael Leonetti has. Yes.
And who did that? Has that same spirit.
He does.
Bruce.
But the thing was, they talk about Michael Jackson being the greatest entertainer. I understand. I agree. But at that moment, and until now, between Sammy Davis Jr., I thought that was the greatest performance I had ever seen, right? Yeah. But the spirit of that night came back Sunday night with Michael Leonetti.
What's your favorite? What's one of your favorite songs from the Motown era?
From the Motown, oh my God! So there's like thousands of songs. They had over 100 number one hits.
Okay.
Bob, real quick, Bruce that works here, Bruce
Garrett. Oh yeah, Bruce Garrett plays the soul music and Saturday nights. Right. For 3 hours, he plays all that music. What time is it?
I've listened to Bruce Garrett, the commander. Absolutely, I love his show.
7 till 10 on Saturday nights.
I've called him. We sat on the phone and we talked about.
Yeah, and he even played Indiana Rain on the Soul Channel the other night. Yeah, on Sunday night. Yeah, 11 o'clock. Listen.
That's great.
Robert, thank you so much. And I appreciate everything that you're saying about how great a performer Michael is. He's that old era, and he's here today doing it and bringing back the old Vegas with his performing. And Peter Pavone, Mark Giove, and Jimmy Mulder, great performers. It was great to have the big band, the Dick Kastel Orchestra. Of course, my dad, I'm partial, but everybody walked out of that room saying, "Oh my gosh, what a great treat to hear that big band." So thank you, Dick Kastel, my dad, and thank you, Robert Gordy, and thank you, Magnolia, for being part of it and supporting us. Okay, we appreciate it. Thank you so much. And if you're just tuning in now, you're listening to Sandy Kastel and Friends Variety Show with Chef Michael. And Chef, it was so great. We got a few of your recipes today. Yep. Thank you so much. And we'll be back here tomorrow. We've got Danny Seraphin coming tomorrow, and he's a fabulous drummer. So you guys will have a lot to talk about. Yeah. He's going to be here with the Pop Evolution with Dave Perico. So we'll see you tomorrow morning. Bye.